Uh, yes, ma'am. I think Preeta,
Yes, ma'am.
shall we start, Pa?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
No. Okay.
Respected resource person, Mrs. Rajlakshmi Suresh, our department head, learned delegates, students, a very good morning to one and all. I am Preeta and I feel privileged to welcome you all on behalf of Department of Computer Science for today's workshop in association with IBM on DevOps. To kickstart with today's session, I request our adored department head to deliver few words on this occasion. Ma'am, please.
Good morning to one and all present here. First, I would like to express my sincere thanks to our General Secretary and Correspondent, Mr. Manjit Singh Nair, our beloved Principal, Dr. M.G. Raghunathan Sir, and Vice Principal Madam for their constant support towards all the endeavors of our department activities. Next, I would like to invite and express my thanks to our lovable resource person. She's very enthusiastic, and when I approached her, immediately she has expressed her consent with the overwhelming joy. And I welcome you, ma'am, for our department program. And definitely, our students will be also enjoying at the end of the session. They will be also having this enthusiasm taken from you. I welcome you, ma'am, for our college and to the department. And now I welcome all the participants and as well as teaching fraternities for this wonderful program. And this is the second day of the program. I welcome you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Sir, we can start the live, sir. One of the marvelous things about community is that it enables us to welcome and help people in a way we couldn't as individuals. So, to welcome and introduce our guest of honor, I solicit Mrs. Jayalakshmi. Ma'am, please.
A very good, a very good morning to one and all present here. It is a great honor for me to introduce and welcome the chief guest of the day, Ms. Rajalakshmi Suresh, Technical Architect, People Manager. She has done master's degree in engineering. Madam has got 16 plus years of IT industry experience, encompassing a wide range of skill set on Microsoft platform, roles and industry verticals. She has been a technical architect for a mainframe modernization project in porting mainframe modules to .NET Core microservices hosted on OpenShift with DevOps implementation. Madam has created prototype and production level object oriented applications throughout software development lifecycle, including design, modeling, coding, testing, and documentation. She is experienced in database design, complex stored procedures, CLR/SP development and deployment. Her areas of strength are team management, client coordination, solutioning, end-to-end project management, cross-functional coordination, system analysis, solution and design, procedural documentation, problem analysis and resolution (SDLC). Madam is passionate about learning and teaching technology, poetry, story writing in Tamil, history, puzzle solving, and so on. Now I request our distinguished chief guest, Ms. Rajalakshmi Suresh, to address the gathering. Madam, please.
Thank you for the kind words, Jayalakshmi ma'am, and the introduction by Preeta. And thank you, Rajni ma'am, for this wonderful opportunity. It's very great pleasure to hear when you talk about my profile because I hardly go through my profile. When a teaching fraternity like you reads out the profile, it brings in a lot of positive vibes within me in the morning. Yeah, and I would like to spread it to all of you on the call. I think we can get started with the topic because time is very precious. Let me know
Thank
if
you,
you can see my
ma'am,
screen.
for this wonderful opportunity. It's very great pleasure to hear when you talk about my profile because I hardly go through my profile. In a teaching fraternity like you,
Ma'am, I can, it's echoing. Is it fine now?
yes, ma'am.
Now it's fine, ma'am.
Okay. I think we'll get started. So DevOps is the topic for today. A very good morning to one and all, our respected teachers, and I know how pandemic is and the way that you have adopted to online teaching. Hats off to you and a big salute to you. And more salute is to the students who have adopted to it. It is not easy to have year-long classes online. Probably online is for entertainment, but it is very difficult when you have to do all the studying online. I know how we distinguish between classroom trainings and virtual trainings when we work in IT. So we'll all love kind of classroom trainings. It is all fun. But when it comes to online training, we kind of become very tired. We will not be able to go through all the classes and take the information in the same way that it happens in classroom. So that is a small bit, and the students right today are going through that full time. Hats off to you too. So the most precious commodity today is time. So you are investing, everyone on the call is investing 1 hour of your time to know what DevOps is all about, right? So I would take, I think I've gathered enough information to empower you or enable you to discuss with anybody. I can even challenge that you can, after finishing this particular session, you would be able to challenge on this particular topic to a software engineer and discuss what is it all about. So that is what I vouch for before I start the session. So my agenda, as I told you, I would tell you what all DevOps is, and you will gather enough knowledge to talk to anybody in the IT field. And DevOps is not, I will not restrict this to IT field alone, because you, as you go over the topic, you can understand. But at the same time, we will have to go through a set of topics to enable you. Here, I go with the DevOps introduction because without the definition, the teacher would not give you the 2 marks or the 5 marks for the question and the answers. So you have to know what it is. So I would start what DevOps is and the essential concepts to know uh, beyond behind this DevOps. And there are also other things like agile methodology, CI and CD. And what is a pipeline? There is lots of times when we talk about DevOps, immediately you can see people talking about pipeline. What is a pipeline? And tools, right? What are the tools that we are going to deploy or employ for getting this DevOps done? And DevSecOps. So this is how the technology is fast, right? When we are talking about one particular topic, you have another topic in place. We are just, we would have started about programming. Probably all of you students in your computer science would have started on basic programming, data structures, and on a little bit on deployment, little bit on engineering management. When we are studying that, the industry would have traveled so far that we would have only studied the basics. It happens for all of us. Even when I studied engineering, I learned only C and Fortran. Fortran was almost out of picture. By the time I passed out, it was Java and .NET that were ruling. So that couldn't be accommodated in the syllabus. Similar as the DevOps now. When we're talking about DevOps, now there is something that has come called as DevSecOps. So I would cover that. And also we can have some questions which you can post it on the chat, or I would allow to answer you any time, even after this session. So let me get started. DevOps. DevOps is a combination of two words, development and operations. It is not a single word. So definition for 2 marks is done. So those who ever are on the call, you would have already known if you would have heard about it, it is a combination of these two words. Now that you have known this, what it is like a word that has been amalgamated together, development and operations. So is that all DevOps is? Are you combining two things and saying, is this a skill? Is this something that you have to know? Why is everyone talking about DevOps? Because see, when I started knowing about this particular topic, I was thinking this was a very big skill, and this has to be in my resume, because I've been into the industry for 16 to 18 years. So every time a new skill comes, I would always like that to be on my resume, because that is how I will feel good about my profile. I could land in such projects. I would feel happier about that, and I have to be in the industry, right? If I have very old skills in my profile, those skills would be outdated probably. uh, I
Excuse
mean,
me, ma'am.
yes, ma'am.
Presentation is not there.
I am presenting, ma'am.
It is not visible, ma'am.
Is it? Let me know, ma'am. Let me know if you can see. It shows me I'm sharing.
Yes, ma'am. Now it is visible, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much for that, because it was showing me you're sharing. Yeah. Thank you,
Thank you.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah, everyone, I think I'm just on slide one. I have not walked very far, or I was just talking about the two words, right? The development and operation. I was talking about whether those two words combined together gives the meaning, or what kind of a skill is it. Okay. Uh, so it doesn't mean, it is just like a combination. What combination is that matters, and why is it being so important? Why everyone keeps talking about this? Why all the software engineers and all, even enterprises, why these companies are behind DevOps? And suddenly you see, right, you would have heard somewhere the single word, and suddenly we have 1 hour session for DevOps, right? It has gained so much important in the recent days. And why it has gained importance, yeah, that is vital to know why this has been important. So that is what we are going to look into this particular presentation. So I have my development and operations. Development operations, they are just, I would call them as teams to start with. Okay, to just get started. There are two teams: the development teams and operation teams, who work hand in hand to get this entire process done. You have, whenever you want to have a perfect product, it might be, see, product in the sense, in today's term, product can be anything. It need not be a particular software, it need not be a particular website. It is not like that. Product can be anything that is out in the market, starting from your food product and anything. But here we are more talking about IT related terms. So product in the sense means anything that gets released from an IT service system. Okay, we will keep it like that. So I have my development team. Development team is the team who is going to build the product. Okay, those are going to foresee what it is. They are going to code it. Whatever, I mean, you see an Amazon website today, there are a set of developers who have sat behind and coded that, right? And then that gets tested, right? So anything that is planned, coding is done, that is built and tested. So all this forms your development team. What is operations? If I develop a website, is that enough? Can I, if I have that website in my machine, is that enough? I have to host it somewhere, right? On the internet. I need a server, I need some configuration where I have to host it. Any product, even if I develop a mobile app, okay, if I can do mobile app development only on my phone, but if I have it on my phone only, I'm going to use it, right? That is not a product, it's just like an output which I've developed. But if I have to release it to the customers, if I have to take it outside, you either put it on Google Play Store, or you have to put it on your iTunes, right? You need a platform where the particular product has to be launched or deployed. We call the term deployed. So I have planned, I have done the coding for the website. Let us take this website example for some more time. Okay. I planned for a website and I code for the website. There is a team of developers who code, who build and test it. Okay. We have a QA team. They all form a part of the development team. And after that, once my product is ready to go to the market, I release it. I deploy in the terms like I put it on a server where other people can actually access it, and I operate it. Is it enough that I host it on a server and leave it? No, I have to see that the server is operational, and I have to see that whenever there is like large number of users who are using that particular software, I mean particular application, the application is still responding, right? We have lots of clauses. For example, I will tell you again, Amazon website. When 10 people access the same product, nothing will happen. 100 people access the same product, nothing will happen. 10,000 itself is a very small number, team. So when you have like 1 lakh or more than 1 million users, the big sale, you have lots of sale that happens, right? Which happens over the night and everything. So when too many people, more than a lakh of users, try to hit the server and get the information from that website, the website might not respond. But so that is where this operations team is going to come into picture. Is the website actually responding to you? Is the website actually able to respond 24 hours, or does it have a downtime? What would be the downtime? And does it cater for the number of users? And what if there is a very funny thing and all? Sometime before it happened, there was a rat that actually bit down the wires in the server room, and we were all we did not have connection. So it took time. It is not because like there were like lots of users who used and the site went down. It was because of a rat in the server room that the services went down. So even some infrastructure issues like that. So operate, and you have to monitor whether your application is used by people and what kind of issues they are having. Because I cannot assume that whatever I have planned and I have delivered is going to be, and all the customers are going to be happier about it. We have to constantly monitor which product are they buying the most. What is that? Okay, during the pandemic, there may be certain things that people want to buy more, and there are certain things which are not even available. You can see product not available tags added. So there is a constant monitoring on different portions of the website, and they will also create a list of issues. Okay, we noticed all these issues that happened during our observation time, so you plan for it. Okay, this is how we will overcome. Now let us plan for it. Okay, only with planning nothing will happen. And you have to code, then build, test, release. You can see this DevOps symbol itself. It is an infinity symbol, right? Infinity is countless, right? It is limitless, countless. It does not have an end. It is continuous. And again, it is cyclical and continuous. That is what this entire DevOps logo itself denotes. So all these components that are what they convey you, and why it is continuous, and why it has to be continuous. Because anyone today who delivers faster to the market is the winner. You might have an idea in the mind. By the time you code, you plan for the release, and you take it to the customer, there might be somebody else who had got the idea after you. He would have done that, and he would have taken the money, right? That is what, whoever is first to the market, faster to the market, they are the winners. So with that mantra in mind, right, every organization, everybody, they keep running behind this DevOps practice. This is a practice which has been commonly happening, but that bit of fine tuning in every day, in a day-to-day work, how it is impacting the bigger picture is what DevOps is all about, and why it is so important. And I have another Venn diagram here. It is not only to one team. It's not only to my development team. It's not only to my QA team. QA team is the testing team, quality assurance team, and operations team. I told, right, server administrator, the infrastructure people. So all of us together, this DevOps practice is applicable to all of us, because all of these teams work for one business objective, taking it faster to the client and making money, right? So this is my all about DevOps, a precursor. Okay, what DevOps is not. So before coming to this particular session, there would have been thoughts. Not everyone. Few people would have known what is DevOps. Others would have thought it is a new tool. Okay, somebody is going to teach us about new tool. It is not a new tool. It is not a new framework, as I was telling you. Nothing like that. It is still a skill. So what you should remember, it is still a skill, still a process. When you say, even in my profile, when Jayalakshmi ma'am read out, there would have been one instance where we had delivered a project with DevOps implementation. It's a highlight actually, because we were able to deliver the project successfully because we had done that on DevOps implementation. Okay, ma'am, are you able to see the next slide? Is it fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so
Yes,
much.
ma'am.
Yeah, just a reassurance. Yeah, thank you. And so it is not a new tool. Is it a product? Am I going to install something on my machine to see that DevOps is implemented? Is it a checkpoint? No, it is not. It's not an organizational unit. Like you would have heard about ISO, International Standard Organization, CMMI, like Continuous Maturity Model. Is it about that? No, it is not a compliance unit. It is not an organizational unit. DevOps is not like that. Okay, is DevOps tools and technology? Should I learn lots of tools to get this done? Is it only about a technology like cloud? Cloud is a technology, right? Is it something like that? No, it is not. And it is not one size fits all. Is DevOps applicable to all all the industries, all the software projects? No, not required. It is not. It is applicable where it has to be again, right? And it's not simply about combining development and operations team. Yeah, what it is not. If I when I said you combine development and operations team, you make them sit together and work. Is it going to solve all my problems? No, absolutely not. So all this, put together, what DevOps is not. So what DevOps is, yeah, more to see. Again, when talking about combining the development and operations team, again, it includes even the QA. And I was talking about one size that fits all. So we will see more about those points, why it is not applicable, why DevOps is not that way. And there are few misconceptions about DevOps. Okay, because I see lots of advertisements, and there are even career course programs on what you can actually do with DevOps. I was surprised to see it. I think not before yesterday, I knew that there was a training program available for 6.5 months on DevOps and tools. I was actually shocked because this was something that I learned on the job and how well it can be done. And yes, there are few tools which you can actually learn beforehand, but it is probably it's a different marketing strategy. Like, people say, do you know DevOps? If you're in software, it is like, do you know, I do not even know to tell you an example right now. So there might be like a common thing, do you know cycling? When you do cycle, I have a cycle, I know cycling. So am I going to like run through, make my am I going to walk along with the cycle? No, that is not the case. If I have a cycle, I know how to cycle. So what is different in that? So people say, I'm going to give you a training course, and also that was very funny. So DevOps, misconceptions about DevOps. So why I want to clarify everything out of your mind is, so next time I told you something during the beginning of the session. So you would be able to challenge or discuss with a software engineer on what the practice they are working about. So that is why I'm trying to first remove the misconceptions. So when you remove the dark clouds, you will be able to see the sun. So this is something like that. DevOps only involves developers and system administrators. No, it is not. DevOps is a team. So there is a DevOps team who sits and does all these functions. No, nothing like that. DevOps is a job title, like a software engineer. No, it is not. So these are the misconceptions people have. And these are applicable only to web startups. No, I was talking to you about products, right? It doesn't restrict yourself to web startups, web applications, e-commerce site. Is it only for them? It is not. DevOps is about tools. You would have heard about Jenkins, very famous, like the pipeline and the tools. So if you know about Jenkins, everything is done. If you don't know about the Azure MS, Azure build agents, it's all done. No, it is not like that. You need a DevOps certification to work on DevOps. Yeah, this is one major thing which I really wanted to tell. If you want to work on DevOps, it's not that you need to have a certification. You need to know what it is, how to do, and where to apply. That's it. So probably, when at the end of the session, you should be able to put in your profile, I know what is DevOps is. or acquired knowledge. We call different types: acquired knowledge and applied knowledge. Acquired knowledge is what you hear from people. What you have learned is acquired. Applied is when you do hands on. We call it as applied knowledge. So this session would guarantee you the acquired knowledge. There is one right way or wrong way, and nobody can say this is how you have to drive this cycle, this is how you have to do this DevOps. No, I can do it however, and this is a wrong way to do. No, there is nothing like that. There is no specific way to do this. I can tailor it according to my needs, because there is always a budget constraint that is associated with each project. Number of team members who are working on each project. I cannot apply all the same rules to every process, every application. So DevOps is not like that. DevOps does not say step one, do this, step two, do this. And if you run only by this checklist, things will go good. Nothing like that. And it will take so many months and weeks to implement DevOps. No, not at all. It is an integrated process. It just happens along with the life cycle. DevOps is about automation. So now if you see in software engineering, this automation word is catching up a lot. Anything you say, right? Anything can be automated, and that creates some kind of a fear with people that they would lose their careers, or this automation will take away the jobs. And DevOps is one kind of an automation which would take away the job. No, not at all. It is nothing like that. Automation comes into place when a repetitive job, done by a done manually, that can be replaced with the help of any process or a machine. Okay, that is what is all about automation. And you're not making to lose the person or the job, right? It is about using the person for a better activity, because as man, right, like we are empowered to do more things. It is not that I would look into, I would compare this to a post office job, but nothing less for a post office job. I respect those people, but still it is like a very manual process, right? When they take a particular postcard, they will see where the pin code is, and they will put it in a particular rack, and those are sorted that way. Okay, and those sorted postal covers, they will pick it up, and they will actually put the seal on that and deliver. And there would be a person only to do the seal, right? Only to put the seal on the covers. So post office, if you see, they have a kind of a manual process, which there will be a set of people who do. So what will happen is, ultimately when you do that, probably they might talk to each other when they're doing that, might actually cause a little lag, or there might be an error. Leave the overhead, there might be an error. I can see 26 as 28 or 29, or I can put it onto another rack with another pin code. So it is error prone also, right? I cannot say it is error proof. Probably the human who is doing will do it perfectly, but still there is a chance of error prone. But if you make this a machine do this, we are talking about machines that actually sort the covers, leave sorting the covers, at least putting the seal with the particular date. You don't need a human to do that, right? We have a brain. We can do better things than putting a seal onto the cover, and probably on distributing, or we can distribute lots of covers by the time they are putting seal on those, right? So automating is like putting that particular seal on covers, say 100 covers in 1 minute, job done. The entire number of covers that have to be handled by the postman or the department, right, will be done in 1 minute. How much time will it take for each cover to put the seal? And it makes the process easy. It frees up your time for anything better. Probably the postman can actually think about enabling speed post better, or they can for one day they might deliver 100 covers. But when one small portion is automated, for example the seal, right, they might be able to deliver 200 covers per day. That will increase the productivity. So that is automation. That automation is all about. And it is not taking away the jobs. That is like kind of improving your jobs, making it less error prone. Okay. Is DevOps anything related to this? Making it better, because I'm talking about making things better. Is DevOps about automation between the development team and the operations team? No, it is not about automation. It's a fad. It's just a popular thing that everyone wants to talk about. No, it has been underlying for all of these days. People have known its importance, right? We all get to know our parents' importance after only some time, right? So this is something that has come up. It has been always there, and something that has come up because, yeah, everyone knows that this is very important and vital for uh, the people to succeed, for the business to succeed. So these are the misconceptions. So when next time when you discuss, if somebody says, "Do you have DevOps skill? Do you is that, are you a DevOps engineer job title?" So you can say, "Is that a job title? No, it is a process. I'm working along a team where DevOps is implemented. Yeah, and I know how better it is going to improve the entire process and what better I have done." So you're going to flaunt that knowledge to anybody who is going to counter you. Okay, a little bit on, I think we spoke enough, right? IT industry, what DevOps is and DevOps is not. So it's, I was telling you, it's not a fad. It has been going on for some time. So whenever a topic comes, it is very essential for students like you to know about how it evolved. It did not come out in a day. Be it any technology, anything that you see on a day to day basis, you should actually give a little bit of time to see how come, when did this actually come into practice. It can start from anything, from your day to day activities. Even there was a very funny thing at home when idlis were made. My little son was asking, who kind of invented this idli? Nobody had answers. We told something, probably the great grandmothers, they thought how to mix the rice and the ulunda and get the perfect mixture, and they thought this is good for the stomach. But we don't have an answer, right? Even for a day to day item that we see, how did it actually get evolved? Now we have like different types of we enjoy different types of idli, and we say it is all our traditional food. Where did the tradition come from? How did it evolve? Or what has been the importance behind something? We never spend time. We take it for granted. Okay, this is something new. This is this is something available and I'm going to consume. So anything, just have a practice, because as students, right, when you develop this small practice of how come this could have happened, actually that will help you in knowing lots of things on a daily basis. So that is one very good, or a very good way to improve your knowledge in all the topics. I'm not restricting it to the work that you do or the topics that you study. Even in day to day objects, something that actually takes your eye, you can just ponder and think, what could have be the reason how this has evolved. And now, all the more, and meanwhile, the way that I was studying this, Google all were not much there. We had only like books, library books, where we have to go and search for knowledge, which was cumbersome. But now you type evolution of idli in Google. It gives you, you have Wikipedia, which will tell you lots of stories, lots of theories, and you don't know which is true. That is a different thing. But at least you can develop that little bit of knowledge. Okay, so here, a little bit on DevOps evolution. See, somebody started assessing how things can be made better in way back in 2007, like 14 years back. There was a topic. These were there, but they started thinking about what can be done better. Okay, and we had this topics presented on the Agile conference. I'll tell you why this Agile is also very important. DevOps is not a standalone practice. It doesn't. It's not like it is separately available. It gets along with lots of other things. That's why in my agenda I had given some essential things to know, right? About essential concepts that you have to know. So one of the essential concepts that you have to know is Agile. And then, and you have like leaders like IBM, HPCA, like they come up with the uh, the DevOps tools. Once we know there is a concept, there would be a tool that is associated, because there can be a process, but when there is a tool in the sense, when it is when I'm able to link those pieces together over an available tool, it makes my job easier. If you have to do, for example, if DevOps is a process and I have to track the daily proceedings in an Excel sheet or a paper or a piece of paper, the purpose of DevOps will be slightly lost, right? Because I can still do it on all these, but the purpose is lost because it's a more of matter of time and energy. But when you have tools which will tell you, okay, which person did what work, and which is the code that has to go to the production. So there are like lots of tools which enterprises come up with. So all these were in the market from 2012. Now DevOps is everywhere. And this was in 2015. I think you have more to go. It says like, what does the future for DevOps hold for the organization wherever we work for? Where and all can you apply? What are the products that you can apply? So this question started like 6 years back, and everybody are behind this particular topic, because everyone who adopts this are reaping profits. Every project that is adopting DevOps is finding, better ways. They feel, okay, this is better than the way that I was working before. So everyone has realized that this is something good and everyone is comfortable with. It's like a win-win for everyone, like for people who work, for people who maintain the site, and people who invest, right? Basically, it is all about the money that is running behind. It is not about anything else. So more the money they make and more the investments they would make, and we can work on more projects, and this, slowly the skill develops. And again, I mean, it's win-win for everyone. So this is about the DevOps evolution. Yeah, I told you about few essential topics, right? This is about the software development methodologies. Actually, you can take an hour session or even more for each one of these topics. They're so deep and more. Okay, but let us know what they are. As students, it is essential to know the terminologies, the words that we are using. You all call it as jargon. At least you should know what are the terms that people are using. When somebody says waterfall, next time you should not be relating it to jog falls or monkey falls. You should know it is a waterfall is a software development methodology. And agile is simply a word. It means like agility. It's something that is related to smart, anything that quickly reacts. If you see in the dictionary, right, anything that is agile, you're flexible. Again, so it is an English word coined for a methodology. You should know, okay, that there are some software development methodologies. There are process that is associated on how a software can be developed. So these are the terms. So probably when you go for an IT company for a job or anywhere, it can be, or you can have your own startups. Okay, so you should know what are the terms, how do they basically work. Once you know the first term and what it is, and then there is enough information available on the net for yourself to get trained. Now it is all, the world is running behind the self-paced training. Like somebody whom we know, right, in a crowd, when we see some known faces, we feel comfortable. We will not feel left out. We'll just feel, okay, there is somebody whom we know. That comfort level will come when you know these terminologies. So that is the idea. So waterfall is a methodology. Why waterfall? Means it falls from top to bottom. I mean, there is an implementation. Let me uh, put it clear. So waterfall is the way it is phase by phase. It was falling way back, I think like 10-12 years back, when I started as a software engineer, right, a junior developer. Things were all functioning as waterfall. I used to work on a website. So how the website requirements came was, the client, there was used to be one person who has to go to the US, collect all the requirements, or sometimes the client used to come to India and give the requirements. And they will say, this is what all my website needs. They will give you everything from the login page, from how a home page should look, how the menu should look, and even the colors, everything they will give you. Okay, then you design how to make this work, because code is not like, I don't write everything in one piece of paper, or I don't type 2000 lines of code in one page and then deploy. I will design, how should I design the pages, and what is the code that it should call, what is the database that it should have. So all that will part my design. So this will happen step by step. When I'm doing my requirements, I will not do my design. So, and when I'm doing my design, nobody will code. I will complete the design, high level design and low level design. I will do documentation for 2 months. Actually, I've done that. So I'll sit and do such deep work, and implementation will come where I have to code whatever evidence and requirements and design. And suddenly they will ask us to code, and we used to sit day and night and try to do the implementation for whatever we have designed. And always it is an overflow, because whatever I say can be done in 8 hours will take 18 hours. And it is never the reverse. Whatever says 18 will never get in 8 hours. So implementation always takes more time. And testing, I told you can challenge anybody, right? So you would have had software engineers in your family, or extended friend circle or anywhere whom you meet. Just go. If they are a developer, ask them what they work for. Okay, they might be a developer, they might be a tester, architect, anybody, basically it will all come down to a developer, tester, or if they are in technical writing, we will just keep them aside, but for now. Okay. So developer, ask them if they have done unit testing. There is something called as unit testing which a developer has to do. As soon as I code c is equal to a plus b, I am supposed to test all the combination for a plus b to give the c. Okay, but what I will do is I will code c is equal to a plus b and I will give a is equal to 2, b is equal to 2, answer is 4. Okay, I have tested my code. I will never put -2 and -2 and see my code because I know it might fail. I'm afraid to even test my code. As a developer, unit test is supposed to handle all the condition, 2 plus 0, 2 plus -2, all the combinations. But I am afraid to test my own code with all the combination. There is no developer who does complete unit testing. I can give it to you in writing. I'm in the industry for 16, 18 years, right? I think nobody does. If any developer does 100% unit testing, we don't need QA at all. We don't need, we are not, we don't need any process that we are talking about now. It is not possible. And, and so nobody does unit testing. And again, if you know anybody who works for QA, go and ask them, have you tested 100%? They'll say 99%. 1% they will always keep, because if that 1% of error is possible by any cause, we don't know. It can be a server error. I know even for the C is equal to A plus B, you can think only of 10 conditions. But my tester, what they will do, they will try to add alphabets. Is it possible to add alphabets? But testing will do. They will add 2 plus A in the logic that I've written. I will go and ask my QA, how will it work? How will number 2 get added to A? They will say this is testing. If your code fails, then you have not handled the exceptions. So go and change your code so that if A is coming, either you should not allow the entry of A into that field, or if A is entered, tell it is an invalid value. Or if A is entered, do not process. You should not throw an error. This is how QA will talk. So there are 2 questions you can ask to anybody whom you meet. Do you know 100% unit testing? They will actually look at you up and down. Why is this person at all asking me? They'll say, yeah, I would test, but they can never test. And if for a tester, you go and ask, are they 100% sure that there will be no errors? They can never say it is 100%. They'll say, I have tested 99, but conditions apply. There might be something that happens. So, yeah, but that is the sad reality. Okay. And then after testing, we put it into deployment and then we maintain the application. For getting one website done for the client requirements that have been given, I would take 6 to 8 months, solid 6 to 8 months to deliver the project. That used to happen in waterfall. So that is what waterfall. Project management process. It is a project management process. It is sequential progression from one stage to another. Requirements, design, implementation, testing, maintenance, like the waterfalls from top to bottom. And the time spent early in life cycle to cut down on later mistakes. What will happen is, when testing people will be doing, right, then they will say, I think this requirement is wrong, or you have not collected enough information from the during the requirement analysis. Then only we'll go back to the first page where we had been given papers by the client. Then we'll say, we will feel that we have entirely misunderstood what the client gave. By the time we would have spent 6 months, right, that it has come to implementation, we've lost all the time. And what we'll do, we'll sit for like hours together, or weeks together, without even stepping out of the office, get that work done, deliver it to the client. And it is very expensive, tiresome, and customer satisfaction is also lost. Next time they won't give us good projects. So all those problems used to happen in waterfall. Okay, how is this project, or how is this kind of agile superior or different from agile? Different from waterfall. Agile is going to happen on a continuous basis, but continuous basis in smaller chunks. So if I take a website, I will just develop first on the login screen and the home page. I will first define what is there in the login page. I design and I will do a code. They call you would have heard about a term called MVP, minimum viable product. That is, first I will just launch the login page and the home page, and then I will keep adding features one by one on top of it. Because and every 2 weeks I will have a new release. Every 2 weeks I will keep putting a new release. And at the same time, what will happen is, when users are using my site or my product, right, they will have some feedback. I think this color is not good. I mean, this happens in lots of apps, right? You use some mobile apps, you will see suddenly that button does not respond. There are too many ads that are popping up, even though it is free, even though that product you will like, the output of the product will be very nice, but there are n number of things that will keep disturbing you. Sometimes there will be 10 filters, out of which only 5 will work, the other 5 will not work. You'll feel irritated. So that time, there is a feedback, and that is why this rating and all comes into picture. Whenever you rate an app, you tell what a bad feature you have on this particular filter, I don't like it. That is a feedback to your product owner, that is who is actually publishing this. Then they will sit with their team and say, hey, why are so many complaints coming on the filter section? Can a group of developers address that immediately? So immediately in the next release, what they will do is focus and say, all the you can see in the product release, right, all the filter issues are resolved, enjoy a new set of filters. Immediately what we will do, we will apply the updates to the software, and we will start using the software. But in this period of 2 weeks, right, if a new product gets launched and they give you 100 filters with pakka working, and and what you will do, you will slowly let down the old project, I mean the old app that you were using. You will go to the new product, right, because you were not satisfied initially with that. Even in agile that might happen, but the time is very small. It is 2 weeks or 1 week is very less a short time for you to change the mind. Probably it can happen in a day. For the way things are going right in the market today, probably I can change my mind within a minute. I can say, okay, this app, no, it's not, even though it is free, no, it doesn't satisfy. Just uninstall it and I can install it again. So it is faster. So however faster you're able to deliver, that is why I told the word, right, faster to market, faster to the customers, right, it is going to be successful. So agile is that kind of a methodology which will work on smaller chunks on a continuous process, the cycle that it defines. It's more lightweight and flexible, and you need not, after delivery, you need not wait, oh my god, there is a big thing that I forgot. If there is something that is forgotten, forgotten is a very bad thing, you should not be doing. If something has been left behind, we call something as backlog. You put it on the backlog, and then you work it out on the next time and immediately deliver. So there is no timeline for the release. And you get working the software out quickly in shorter iteration. Scrum is an agile method. Scrum is not different. Waterfall and agile are methodologies, software development ways, which I told you, right, which are kind of different. But Scrum, you can talk, there's lots of people will talk about Scrum teams. Scrum is an agile method. It is a subset of your agile itself. How the team can actually adapt itself to changes that are coming. When somebody says, Raji, this changes come, and I will actually make a quick plan for it and deliver it. So I will be enabled to do that. It is not that they give it to me and I parcel it and I give it to them. No, it is not like that. Because it is not one individual person, right? As I told you, this is multiple teams that work to get this product out, right? So everyone as a team will be able to adapt to this very immediately. And you have stories. They'll create small stories for login page, home page, menu. So each functionality, and we will have daily meetings, like 15 minutes meeting on what went well, what went wrong, who can help me, and there'll be one person who will preside the meeting. And they kind of encourage it and make it more vivid. It will be very nice, or make it more interesting, so that the teams can actually contribute. It is also about team spirit. What will happen in waterfall is, if you make me slog for, I can be awake for 3 days to fix a particular production support issue. But can you expect that from a human to do that for 3 months together without sleeping? No, I can't. At last I'll be burnt out, and I can't even make my brain work to code, to test. I'll be losing out on everything. Or you cannot bring a new team member to work on it also, because I would have been working on that particular product for a long time. But if a new person comes, the entire knowledge gets replaced. So all that is lots of difficult things. So it is also about encouraging the team spirit, right? Person who is skilled, Okay, when you do it in small chunks, even if I spend 8 to 10 hours a day, I feel happy, okay, that I have completed this particular user story and I have delivered. So it makes me feel happier also. So Scrum is more of an agile method. So in this slide, I think you I've told you enough about waterfall, agile, and scrum. So these basic things, I think it is enough for you to get started. If you go to a job today where they are adopting an agile practice, I think whatever I've told you now is fair enough to get started. And from there, again, as I told you, these are all acquired knowledge. When you apply the knowledge, then you go to the next level. Okay. This is a DevOps practice. Actually, I thought why I should put this slide is you can actually adopt this for your day-to-day activities also, which you can actually see improvement before you go to a company where you work and implement this. I thought this DevOps practice is actually even good for us sometimes. You have first, it has just like 3 ways or 3 steps, they say. Okay, flow, feedback, and continuous experimentation and learning. Flow, for example, there is a flow on how we study for the exam. Okay, because your students, I am forced to take up the example. So you have to complete the entire book and write the exam. Only if you read the book you will write the exam. That is the flow. That is what is expected. That is the work that has to be put for the output that has to be got. That left to right. Okay, for the effort that has to be put and the exam that you have to write. There is a feed in, imagine you cannot read the entire book in one day. So what you would do is split it into different topics, units, or however, right? You will start reading it and then you complete it. This is also a normal process way where you kind of segregate and do. But there is something more. And all this is not applicable a day before exam. Okay, we all do that, right? The fifth unit is always reserved for the day before, or for only during the exam mornings. It's worldwide, everywhere, everybody does that. Even I'm no exception. So we used to do that, but that is not the right way to gain knowledge. It's for writing exam. Okay, so when you just break it into small chunks, you have like feedback loops. Did we actually study this particular unit properly? There were few topics that you would have thought, okay, this particular topic I will reserve it the night before the exam, then we will circle one topic. By the time we finish the entire lesson, we would have circled many such topics, right? So there are lots of and then when you go back to the lesson, you'll see like you would have marked so many things as backlog. But you have to, when studying the next lesson, then you will realize whatever I didn't know, I started marking it as not read. Probably I should spend some more time to reduce the number of not read topics, right? Or what you will do, if you have to understand that particular topic more, probably Google and try to find little information about that. At least you are able to write some 2 mark or 5 mark questions on that. So you will start writing some notes. You will start writing some little bit of improvement. Or there might be a case there where you might even call a friend and ask, hey, this particular topic, do you know what it is? Somebody will say, yeah, this is very easy. This is how, what for their, whatever they would have acquired, right? They might tell it to you. Then when you have acquired from them, you won't mark that particular topic as not known, because you have little bit of idea on what is that. So, and then you go to the third lesson, it will not have, when you look back and see, it will not be having those many doubt areas that you had on the first lesson. You have improved a bit when you are going to the third lesson. Probably on third lesson you will feel, okay, this is how my friend understood. He had some abbreviations written and that is how he is remembering that. Let me do the same technique. Why should I go back? Or probably a group study, something. You will have a continuous experimentation. Am I going to rely on Google? Am I going to call the teacher and ask what is the doubt is? Am I going to ask my friend what the concept is? Or is there any training program, or is there any local author notes which is actually going to give me some good information to write the exam? So that is continuous experimentation. What is going to give you some improvement on what you have learned is continuous experimentation on every topic. And actually when you keep doing this, you will actually be learning so many things. Okay, whatever the topics you had decided, the doubts that were clarified, you interacted with people, and the experiments that you did, You just didn't, you did not say, okay, my friend did not know, so I am not knowing, let me close the chapter. Your friend will also, I mean, score low marks, and so will you, right? You won't leave like that, because somehow or other we need to clear the exams, and we have to go. There are other things that are waiting for us into the future. It might be a joke that, I mean, everybody in the college life we would have gone through, who's, I mean, as everybody cleared the papers, or we never see who the topper is. We will see like who all, I mean, what all we have cleared. Have we escaped that particular semester? It happens in everyone's life. But what you would have learned from that particular semester is lots of learning. Okay, previous thing, this is the mistake I did. Probably there would have been few good things, like, pitching in a local author and trying to understand only the concepts, or going back to your teacher and asking, ma'am, is this notes okay? Is this enough for my exam? Can I know? Probably that would have worked out. So you will have all the positives listed down, and now experimenting, taking risk, and learning from failures. And you will, whatever went well, you will do that as a repetition and a practice, so that you master the entire thing. The same thing what I'm talking about is applicable even in a software development. I know from design to deployment there is a flow, and in between there is a feedback that is given to make how well we can actually improve on the product. When the feedback is continuously coming to me, I will feel, okay, last time I did that particular mistake in coding, and this time I will not do that, whatever be the timeline, because I would have spent the night without sleeping fixing that issue. I don't want that to repeat, because always my personal priorities are there, right? I cannot slog for weekends, sit together behind the issue. So I will feel that, okay, that issue will remind me of one sleepless night I spent. I should not repeat it. Let me do it the right way. That is the feedback that I've taken, and I will try to implement properly. And by the end of the project in 6 months, I would have like got lots of feedback, and lots of improvements that I will actually do it on the product. And next time when I work the way of life, I know what are the mistakes I've done. So it is like, you learn from the mistakes. More the mistakes you do, more the mature individual you are. But if you don't learn from the mistakes, and you still brood over the mistakes, that is the failure. Actually, this is even a life practice, or a DevOps practice, or you call as an industry practice. Every time you learn from the mistake, and you have to be resilient, you have to bounce back from the mistake as soon as possible. Any mistake that you have to know that that is a mistake committed. Okay, that fault is there, and I have to come out of it. That mentality, that attitude, it's more of an attitude. It works everywhere for a wonderful product, be it yourself or be it the applications that we develop and work. So these are the three ways: the flow, feedback, and experimentation and learning. Okay, there is something very interesting. Okay, I was talking about a project where I worked for 6 months and deployed, and then and there were also projects that I worked for 2 weeks and deployed. Amazon.com, everyone uses it, right? When so many businesses are falling apart during this pandemic, Amazon.com, or I will not name them, okay, because this is one fact that is available in the internet, so I'm just pulling it out. There are lots of e-commerce sites that are making profits. Why are they making profits? Because of this, quicker deployments, faster to market strategy. They are able to arrive at this faster to market strategy by deploying DevOps. Okay. See, right? Mean time between the deployments. Mean is your average time between the deployments. How many deployments they do during the weekday? 11.6 seconds. Every 11.6 seconds. By the time we were talking, they've done so many deployments. We all see Amazon as a site, but imagine the teams that are working behind the tools that they're, if they have to be successful, they have some process in place, right? And maximum number of deployments in 1 hour is 1079. Imagine the way that it is going, the production support, the support they have to give, the operations team. We're talking about cloud and all. Can Metal Service actually, provide this? You're talking about cloud, providing extra infrastructure to make this happen. Everything goes hand in hand. The agile methodology, the way, the cloud infrastructure, the DevOps practice, all the good things, right? They all go hand in hand. And you see, average number of hosts simultaneously receiving and deployment. Host is nothing but your server where the application is hosted, right? 10,000 hosts, they are doing it in simultaneously. It's the same second. It is not that I am doing first this server, then going to another server. They have servers across the world. It does not mean there is one server in the US which is catering across the world. There are multiple servers across the world. So 10,000 servers, this is only an average number. Again, there might be a lowest count and there may be a very highest count which can exceed about, again, you can see the maximum number of hosts. 30,000 hosts. How can a 30,000 host be deployed at the same second? You need proper tools and technology to do that. So that is what is the tool and technology behind the DevOps, but it's not the practice. Okay. So at this speed, when Amazon is catering to their customer requirements, they are able to lead the market. And this is the reason. And how is this happening? All the practices that are behind the screen. This, you can go and see DevOps practice in Facebook. Facebook, again, they have like daily deployments. I think they have around I've just read, like they have like 100 deployments every day. You see a small feature that the picture is not properly displayed, and the state there might be some suggestion app that might be coming. People might not like it. We are constantly monitored with all these social networking sites. You can feel that they don't get your inputs by the way that you scroll the page. Your inputs all go to Facebook or anybody, okay, any player in the game. So they are all taken as feedback and they work on it and they give you a better product. So next time during the day itself, when you scroll the same site, it will give you better options or something that you had looked for. That's why you say, how come this is actually guessing whatever I was talking about? How is it actually happening? There are lots of algorithms behind that. There are lots of configurations behind that. And this DevOps practice, right? Continuous feedback is sent into the system, deployed, and then given back to you. By the time you realize it is it's altogether a new deployment. That is the speed they work, because that is when you will spend more time in that website, more time you will spend seeing that video, more time is like more viewer time is more business to them, more ads that come up. When more ads come up, they get paid. So it is like we are then in customers and everybody tries to make money out of the time and your time especially. Okay. So know this is more importance on the business and also your time. Okay. I told you about another topic. We saw about agile, right? And there was another topic that I wanted all you to know: CI and CD. So next time you see the CI CD, you should know what it is. It is nothing but continuous integration and continuous delivery. The same infinity symbol only, but what it means is continuous integration. For example, there is a calculator app you and your friends decide to write. You give addition alone to a friend, subtraction to a friend, multiplication and division to 4 people. Okay, then you have like you have to put together all of these code into one solution to make that as to integrate it. So separate pieces where unit testing, what you are supposed to unit test is like you do that for addition, multiplication, division. But when you club all the apps together under calculator and you want to function it in one particular way, right? Or you use the same input fields to make it work. You have to integrate. Will you take one day to integrate? Hello?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Actually, we couldn't see the slide. Next slide.
Okay, let me do it again. Let me know, ma'am, if you can see.
No, actually, we are able to see, but the next slide, I think you forgot to move to the next slide, ma'am.
But, okay, I was actually moving it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was on a slideshow. Can you see it now?
Yes, ma'am. Now we can see.
Okay.
And is this your first slide or this is the next slide that you're supposed to explain, ma'am?
Did you see this at all?
No, ma'am. No, this we didn't see. This also we didn't see. No, ma'am.
Oh my God. Okay. Okay, this was the 3 ways of DevOps practice. Okay, from now on, let me learn from the next mistake. I will say I'm going to the next slide. So this is the flow, the feedback, and the learning that I was talking about. Okay, the 3 ways of DevOps practice. This was the slide that was related to that. And I was talking about deployments at Amazon. What's driving the DevOps, right? The faster to market and also the investment on your time. and I was here talking about continuous integration and delivery, the infinity symbol. So I was talking about the calculator app. So you cannot integrate one module at one time. So the integration has to be continuous, right? I have to put the modules together and then deliver it. And there might be a requirement for a scientific calculator where I will just include the log and the exponential functions and then deliver. So continuous integration is even after it has reached the production or it is available to the customers, I will be able to integrate additional components into this and still deliver. Okay, that is continuous integration and continuous delivery. There is something called as continuous development also. Coding is whatever as I told you, the development team code. Build is I will not write like separate class files, and they will not function on their own. I will put them together under one umbrella and I will make it as a package and then give it to the testing, which will be ultimately released. So identify, I mean, that is what is the process here. So I code and I build is like putting together and making it into a package. Then there must not be any build errors. If there are any build errors, it won't, I mean, if you can't even compile the program, it won't even function. So you do the initial step, then you send it for testing. When testers, they do, as I told you, they will give you lots of feedback and defects from the code. Then I will fix that, and I will again build it, and I will again give it to them. That unless my tester says, okay, it is ready to go, you call about go, no go, or I say pass or fail, they say pass. Once they say that it is all passed, then I take it to my release. When I release, then I get my feedback from the client. Okay, your product looks good, or your product looks this way, that way, and whatever is the feedback, then I try to integrate with the code and I do it. This is called as continuous development. Okay, and continuous integration is putting together all these components and like delivering it to the client all round the clock, round the year. So next time when you see the terms CICD, this is what it means: continuous integration, continuous delivery. There is also a term called as continuous development, because all these processes are not phased; they are happening in a cyclic order. They are continuous. Okay, I'm moving to the next slide. Okay, I think I spoke about enough of this, but a little bit from the uh, application side. So if you can see the business need, the product owner. A product owner is basically the client or anybody who invests in that project, right? They're called as the product owners. So they have to sign off telling, because I can't say I have developed, right, even though I've got the requirement. The product owners should say, okay, this is what I expected and that is what you have coded. So product owner is the person who gives us the business case. And then we have the development team. Eclipse is for Java, Visual Studio is for .NET. We mean, again, they will also, sometimes there is also a discussion on which technology we should work. So that kind of decisions are also made. So the software development team, what they will do basically is they will translate the use case into a technical piece, into a code. And where would we put the code? We have called as Git. You see GitHub, right? It is a repository where you put the code. And after, this is all, again, that software development team means it is after testing and everything is done, they put it in the code and you have this automated build. Previously, all these processes were manual. As I told you, when I started my career, right, this we had the software repository where we would store the code, but every time I have to take the code from there, compile, create that as a package, and I have to log into the server and put it properly. Even if one file gets corrupted, my website will not come. And even if the server is down, or by mistake if I do any small setting, even a checkbox, right, if I check that wrongly, it won't work. But now, to reduce all the manual errors, we have automated build. And there is also another thing where you have automated test scripts. Every time you make the change, you do not want the tester to come and sit. Sometimes the testers will take many days, equal to the development days, to test the project, because they also want to be 100% sure. Why? Because development team will easily put the blame on the testing team. They'll say, we all did it right, they did not find out, we don't know. It's easy, no? But testing team cannot say that development team did not do, because they are gatekeeping, right? They are more responsible to deliver the product, I mean, to make sure the product works well. So development team, after giving it to the tester, they will make it 100% sure, so they'll take lots of time. So to overcome that, we have automated test scripts. So for the same functionality, from login to logout, they will have some automated test scripts. These are the various values that can be given. Run the test script. That test script will run only for 1 minute. It will test thousands of conditions and will give you a test result and where we will work. So, but writing the test script, that is the difference. Automated means the tester did not lose the job, but they've got enabled to make this automated. They lost the job of doing the manual automation, keying in the, that's what is a manual tester is all about. They don't do it manually now. They have a tool, they study the tool. It's a very simple scripting. They will just write the scripts for the entire website end to end. They will execute the test script. When a new use case comes, they will write scripts for that, so that they are now enabled and empowered for a new requirement. Okay, so that now they can automate things, make their life easier and others life easier also. And automated deployment, as I told you before and all, I was doing the deployment to the server. I will take all the packages carefully, drag drop files. 100 files we can drag drop. There had been cases where we had 2000 files. I don't even know which 2000 I actually copied. It will show overwrite, skip. Even one single translation file, if I lose, that particular language will not work, and the customer will come back to me the very, 1 hour after the deployment, and they will catch my neck and ask us to find out what went wrong and fix also. And there'll be lots of escalation, bad name for us also. So we'll take enough things, but now this is all automated. Now my bandwidth is all given for how better I can work on the process. And this monitoring and operations. Now there are also a separate team, dashboards. I can just log into that site and see if my site works well. So everything right now, this is all kind of happening with lots of tools in place. Whatever the symbols you see, right, these are all tools that we use in each phase of this DevOps. And Jenkins is the place where we do the pipeline, that automated build, automated execution. All that is done in Jenkins. Jenkins is an open source tool, so everybody is using. So most of the software in services industry, or even the development in bank sites, everybody, they work on this DevOps plus continuous delivery cycle. If you know what is this, I think this is what everybody is working. Even today, if I log out of the session, I would be working on a similar system like this. So this is what is happening in current industry. I'm moving to the next slide. Okay, continuous development and these are the different ways. I think kind of elaborated where all it has been automated. You can actually tweak wherever you want automation and where you don't want. But continuous deployment, we are talking about Amazon, Facebook, even bigger giants, right? Or enterprise. Enterprise means bigger companies where we write applications for. So even they have entire cycle as automated. Okay, from build to deployment to production, everything. Probably there might be someday, even this, if this artificial intelligence is picking up, right, it might also start coding. If you tell it a requirement, voice to speech to text, text to speech recognition, if you type the requirement, the machine can understand and say, okay, this is what you want, wait, I will give you. Probably it can code, and it also can write an automation test. Probably slowly that might be a case, but that will take a far time, because human brains, nothing can replace human brain. They are trying to just attempt for it. That is what I can say. You can see the 100 calculations that your mind will do if a small requirement comes. If a machine has to do that, you have to train that particular machine, which will take a real long time, but far distant. Probably your children or your grandchildren or even generations after, that might be a reality that might happen in development. Okay, I was talking about another term called as pipeline, deployment pipeline. So what we do in Jenkins is we build a pipeline. Pipeline is from the start, okay, version control to the deployment. That pipeline is what we actually build in DevOps. Here in see in DevOps, right? I spoke about agile development. We spoke about continuous integration, continuous delivery, continuous deployment. All these are the basis of DevOps, right? DevOps is a practice, but the layers that I'm talking about, the terms that you got exposed, all these are like happening. Your code build, integration test, release, deploy, all these, and the operation, all these process together. It is spanning the entire width is DevOps. And when you actually make the pipeline, means again, when you open a tap, right, it flows through a pipeline and comes into your bucket. And then the source being your water overhead tank, and the pipeline and the way it gets delivered to your bucket is the output. The pipeline that actually carries from one stage to another one. That is what it actually means from the uh, requirement to the deployment. Okay, so version control is, as I told you, there are multiple versions. Whenever I do a change, there is a version control. I do the code change, and again, if I do anything wrong, I will again check in the code into the version control. You can see the arrow mark